January 31st, 2021. How to plant a Three Sisters garden. Now, for you, those of you that are not aware of this, I'm sure you heard that term thrown out before on some garden channels and homesteaders and stuff like that. The Three Sisters are corn, pole beans, and squash. Um, did you know that corn, beans, and squash are called the Three Sisters? A number of Native American tribes interplanted this trio because they thrive together, much like their inseparable sisters. Here's how to plant your own Three Sisters garden. First of all, what is a Three Sisters garden? The Three Sisters method is companion planting. And when I say companion planting, that means that these plants complement each other and they don't compete against each other at its best. With the three plants growing symbiotically to deter weeds and pests, enrich the soil, and support each other. Instead of today's single rows of single vegetables, this method of interplanting introduced biodiversity, which does many things, from attracting pollinators to making the land richer instead of stripping it of nutrients. In a sense, we take no more from nature than we give back. By the time the European settlers arrived in America in the early 1600s, the Iroquois had been growing the Three Sisters for over 3 centuries. The vegetable trio sustained by the Native Americans, both physically and spiritually. In legend, the plants were a gift from the gods. Always to be grown together, eaten together, and celebrated together. Each of the Three Sisters contributes something to planting. Together, the sisters provide a balanced diet from a single planting. And this is how it's explained. As older sisters often do, corn offers the beans necessary support, the pole beans. The pole beans, the giving sister pulls nitrogen from the air and bring it to the soil for the benefit of all three. As the beans grow through the tangle of squash vines and wind their way up the corn stalks into the sunlight, they hold the Three Sisters together. The large leaves of the sprawling squash protect the threesome by creating living mulch that shades the soil, keeps it cool and moist, and preventing weeds. The prickly squash leaves also keep away raccoons and other pests, which don't like to step on them. Together, the Three Sisters provide sustainable soil fertility as well as healthy diet perfection. And you see the diagram here. Here's the corn stalk. There's pole beans going up the corn stalk and surrounded by the squash. Now, what seeds to plant for a Three Sisters setup? In modern day gardens, the Three Sisters consist of the three vegetables: pole beans. Common pole beans such as scarlet runner or tide and snap should work. The Ohio pole bean is our favorite. We've also heard that some very vigorously hybrid pole beans clambering up skinny hybrid corn stalks can pull them down. So if you want to be extra cautious, look for the less vigorous climbers. If you like to try native varieties, look for the Four Corners gold beans or Hopi light yellow. Corn, such as a sweet corn, dent corn, or popcorn, or a combination, your favorite sweet corn variety will do. Although Native Americans used heavier corn with shorter stalks and many stalked varieties so that the beans didn't pull down the corn, such as a pale yellow Tahamara corn, Hopi white corn, or heritage black Aztec. Small leaf squash such as summer squash, zucchini, by the way, is one of the easiest squashes to grow if you're just starting out. You'll get tons of them and you'll get probably sick of them. I fed some to the chickens and they loved them. Or winter squash, Hubbard. I grew Hubbard squash this year too, by the way. There's the blue Hubbard, there's the green Hubbard. It's a pretty big plant and it has some pretty big leaves. No, pumpkins are too vigorous and heavy plant in the separate bed. Native American squash was different, but a yellow summer crookneck squash is similar enough. If you do wish to investigate pure strains of native seeds, reach out to the experts such as Native Seeds. Search nonprofit headquartered in Tucson, Arizona, or Native American Cultural Museums. And also, I would point out, I would look at rareseeds.com. How to plant the Three Sisters. There are variations to the Three Sister method, but the idea is to get is to plant the sisters in a cluster on low, wide mounds rather than on a single traditional row. And that's the way I plant my squash and corn in the first place. I put a mound up so it gets proper drainage. That way it can't get overwatered and it can't get flooded out and soggy soil like if you have a lot of rain that month. Before planting, choose a sunny location, at least 6 hours of full sunlight every day. This method of planting isn't based on rows, so think in terms of small fields. Each hill will be about 4 by 4 feet wide, with 4 to 6 corn plants per hill. Calculate your space with this in mind. In the spring, prepare the soil with plenty of organic matter and weed-free compost. Adjust the soil with fish scraps or wood ash if needed. Number 2, make a mound of soil about a foot high and 3 to 4 feet wide with a flat top that is about 10 inches across. For multiple mounds, space apart about 4 feet. Plant corn first once danger of frost has passed. The next temperatures reach 55 degrees. Don't plant any later than June 1st in most areas. And you'll have to check your growing zone for that, for the frost, and when you should start your corn. Corn requires a very long growing season, and it could average anywhere from 100 to 140 days. So that's quite might take a while to get your corn. Sow 6 corners of corn an inch deep in flat part of the round mound, about 10 inches apart, in a circular of about 2 feet diameter. So you want to plant them in a circle at about 2 feet diameter of your 4 by 4 foot hill. Don't plant the beans and squash until the corn is about 6 inches to 1 foot tall. This ensures that the corn stalks will be strong enough to support the beans. The beans rows to fix nitrogen in the soil, which is needed for strong corn production. That's where the companion planting comes into play. And if you haven't looked at a companion planting chart, I suggest that you do, because you may be making mistakes of planting stuff together or next to each other that aren't companions. You don't win when you put 2 nitrogen takers next to each other. You want a nitrogen fixer like the beans and a nitrogen taker. You can grow several pole beans varieties without worrying about hybrids, but just plant 1 variety per hill. Tip: another option is to plant corn transplants. In this case, you'd plant them at the same time as the beans. So if you want to hatch out some corns and get them about 6 inches to a foot tall before you put them outside, you get a big jump head start on your planting of your Three Sisters garden. Once corn is 6 inches to 1 foot tall, plant the bean seeds evenly spaced around each stalk. So you want to plant it next to each stalk of corn so it can climb straight up the corn stalk. Okay, so if you coat your beans with inoculant before planting, you will fix nitrogen in the soil, and that will benefit all the plants. Okay, I don't know if you know what inoculant is, but that's basically what it is. Number 7, about a week later, plant squash seeds evenly spaced around the perimeter of the mound. And it says plant 6 squash seeds. And squash covers a lot of area, so you're going to have a lot of overflow. And it'll protect your corn. It's going to protect your pole beans from predators. So sometimes the 4 sisters included, such as the sunflower or amaranth, which attracts pollinators. Oh yeah, I always plant. I plant sunflowers right in the center of it, in the center of the corn. It seems to do well that way. Another thing about sunflowers that most people probably don't know is that sunflowers pull toxins out of the soil, heavy metals, toxins, and everything else. So if you're going to grow sunflowers, do not compost them into your soil, because it's pulled all the crap out of there. Go out and put it in a pile and burn it somewhere away from your compost. Sunflowers can be planted at the cross section of the spaces between corn hills and harvested for seeds. And I was feeding my chickens a lot of sunflower seeds that I grew this year, along with the saving seeds. And if you're not saving your seeds, your heirloom seeds, I suggest you do, because seeds are going up in price, and there's probably going to be a shortage this spring. So if you haven't got your seeds already, I suggest you do. Amaranth could come up among the scores and could be harvested both for greens and for seeds. And then they have their little video here demonstrating how they're doing this. But I'll let you, since this will be down in the description thing, I'll let you go ahead and play this video yourself. Because I really don't want to just, play somebody else's video on YouTube. There you go. The Three Sisters method of planting corn, pole beans, and squash. And you want to do like zucchini or Hubbard or a crookneck squash. And I like to use pole beans, the Great Lakes pole beans. They're my favorites anyway. And then of course, I just sweet yellow corn. I do not plant any hybrid stuff anyway. I only plant heirloom seeds. And this is the Old Farmer's Almanac that I'm getting this from. And the link will be down below. And if you would, give me a like. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell. And I hope that when you get ready to plant for your set of plants, I hope that you plant a Three Sisters garden, at least a couple of them, to get started in this, because it's very easy to grow zucchini and corn and pole beans. And so your success rate should be pretty phenomenal. Thank you for watching. Take care, y'all, and God bless.